time of the Roman Empire was on those same scriptures. Those already came to pass already. In particular, of those particular scriptures. Like mentioned in Daniel chapter 9, but also go to the book of Daniel chapter 7 about the kingdom. It goes into the fourth beast. Then within that same chapter it says the saints should take the kingdom. The saints did take the kingdom of the Roman Empire at that time. And any other empires during the time of them erected into power. You had the first beast, which was Lion, Babylon, ancient Babylon. Then you had Meres, which is the Persian Greece. Then Ram, Daniel chapter 8. Also, you had the leopard, that was another beast. And that fourth beast, that dragon. So we're now entering the prophecy of the fourth beast still around, which is the Roman Empire that was revived, the state of being Babylon the Great. These ancient, the old ancient Roman Empire has revived into America, which is Babylon the Great. You got it.
All right.
This is Daniel 7 verse 18. But the saints of the Lord and possess the kingdom forever, even forever. Verse 19. Then I would know the truth of the fourth beast, which was diverse from all the others. How was the fourth beast diverse from all the others? Well, all the other beasts or the other kingdoms had a monarchy. The fourth beast, which was the Roman Empire, it didn't have no monarchy. Hell, even with their predecessors, the Grecian Empire, they are part of the body of Edom too. And they didn't have the kingdom left over to their posterity or their children. You know, they killed one another. You know, they set up a Senate body to vote who can to rule over the kingdom at that time, the empire. That's why Julius Caesar got assassinated by the Senate, because he wanted to have absolute power over the Roman Empire. Matter of fact, it wasn't even called an empire, it was called the Roman Republic at one time. Then Julius, Pompey, and Crassus, they all linked up together and wanted to assail the consulship of the Roman Republic at that time. You know, despite them having, you know, power and pull within the Roman Empire, they wanted more than that. Julius Caesar was anointed or sanctified by the Lord to stand in that seat, because he was one of the three heads that was going to be reserved in the latter part of the Roman Empire kingdom. So they go to show you that the same thing that happened back then, how the Lord orchestrated the kingdoms being erected and whatnot, the same thing is happening right now. And the Lord said what? Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follows. So right here it says, which was diverse from all the others, exceeding dreadful, whose teeth were of iron and of nails of brass, which devoured, break in pieces, and stamp the residue with his feet. So at that time, the Roman Empire had total control over the known world at that time. The known world at that time was in the Levant area, the Mediterranean area, off the Silk Road, all the way up to Britain. Hell, they even had Antiochus Epiphanes as the hospital. how they was ruling over there in Syria. Rome was making they presence felt over there in the east. In the same like manner how they was ruling back then, they even doing more so now. And they go to show you that Esau has never been taken out of the picture of history, of mankind history. You gotta read that.
I got First Maccabees 8 and 15.
Go ahead, bro.
Because First Maccabees 8, verse 15, moreover, how they made for themselves a senate house wherein 320 men sat in council daily, consulting a way for the people, to the end that it might be well ordered. And they committed their government to one man every year, who ruled over all their country, and that all were obedient to that one, and that there were neither envy nor emulation among them.
See how they were diverse? Go up a couple scriptures. Let me go into that. Go ahead, first, read that verse. Start at verse. But this shows you how these scriptures lined up with each other. Precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little and there a little. You can't just read the Bible, starting from the first page and then all the way to the last page of the Bible. Then you can get the whole concept on how this book was collectively brought together. Go ahead.
First Maccabees 8, verse 11, it was told him besides how they destroyed and brought under their dominion all other kingdoms and isles that at any time resisted them, but with their friends and such as relied upon them, they kept amity. And that they had conquered kingdoms both far and nigh, insomuch as all that heard of their name were afraid of them. Also that whom they would help to a kingdom, those reigned, and whom again they displaced finally, that they were greatly exalted. Yet for all this none of them wore a crown or were clothed in purple to be magnified thereby. Moreover, they had made for themselves a senate house, wherein 320 men sat in the council daily, consulting a way for the one people for the people, to the end that they might be well ordered.
Yeah, you start at that first scripture. It talks about the Romans. Which this chapter is just elaborating on the Roman Empire, how they built. Then you have the Grecians as well. So the Grecians as well, they had something similar to that. But you had the four generals separate after they got the rulership, after the Alexander the Great had passed away. Then you had the Diadochia Wars, and like three, four of them. And Ptolemy from South Egypt, Seleucus of North Syria, and Macedonia, you had Antigonus. So they was warring amongst each other. And then the Lord had to where the Roman Empire started to rise up, because it was all due to these prophecies. So we hit the point on, Rome 3 verse 1 and
The book of First Maccabees 8, verse 1. Now Judas had heard of the fame of the Romans, and that they were mighty and valiant men, and such as would lovingly accept all that joined themselves unto them, and make a league of enmity with all that came unto them.
Yeah, this was that peace treaty that I just spoke. I didn't speak about it of that scripture in James chapter 9, verse 27, but that's what that really is. Matter of fact, go to that Bible chapter. James chapter 9, verse 27. Oh, that precept. These Maccabees, he was of the Levites, of Israel at that time, when the Grecian empire rising up. father being Mattathias. And after Mattathias died, Judas was anointed as commander over his brothers and over those that followed him that wanted to keep the Lord's ways. And so, the Lord's with the Maccabees at that time. Taking down Antiochus, 50 army, the top men that wanted to go to war with them. They had to spend huge sums of money to war against Jake at that time. And at that time, the Romans were raising up. Judas Maccabees started making an alliance with them. That's why the Grecians couldn't really do that much to the Israelites, but it still, came to pass that scriptures had to be fulfilled about them desolating the temple, which they did. Go ahead.
Daniel 9, verse 27, and he shall confirm the covenant and with many for 1 week, and in the midst of the week he shall cause the sacrifice and oblation to cease, and for the overspreading of abominations he shall make it desolate, even until the consumption, and that determined shall be poured upon the desolate.
Yeah, they made an agreement. The brother just read about it in 2 Ezra chapter 8. They made an alliance with Israel, but they broke that treaty. So really around Nero time, but then it really came about when Flavian dynasty came in. They really started warring against Israel, starting to have Israel not as an independent state. They were besieging Israel to wholeheartedly be converted to Romans and also really a slave to Rome. All the way up to 73 AD, where Titus took down Sodom. They started to really, really take over and did what the scripture said. So the Lord did say it was determined for those prophecies to happen. God is just the elect around at that time. It didn't matter. The Lord had it to where those Romans broke that treaty and they tore down Israel. Go back to chapter 8. No, chapter 7. From what I was reading. Verse 19.
It's the book of Daniel 7, verse 19. Then I would know the truth of the fourth beast, which was diverse from all the others, exceeding dreadful, whose teeth were of iron, and his nails of brass, which devoured, brake in piece, and stamped the residue with his feet.
Yeah, the teeth that's talking about Roman army. They had a vast army, strong army, mighty army. And they conquered. They did exactly what the scripture says. Read upon the history of the Roman Empire. They was wrecking shop, man. They was murdering us, putting us in these coliseums and having us fight against these lions, other animals, gladiators, having us to go against ourselves. Domitian, Vespasian's son. They was amused at conquering us, man. Having us in these games and whatnot. See that movie Gladiator shows this day. And the Lord said, what? When the prophecy, go back to chapter 4.
Matthew 24, verse 15. When ye therefore shall see the abomination and desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place. Whosoever readeth, let him understand.
Yep, and that's talking about in that time. So they got an Ark of Titus to commemorate the invasion that Yahweh was talking about. Yahweh disciples came to him when he was dwelling in Mount Olive. They were just chilling. And they asked him, Lord, what should be the sign of your coming? And he told them. So then after verse 14, he goes to how the church dispersed in the four corners of the earth. gospel of the kingdom of heaven should be talked about in the four corners of the earth and the ends of the earth. Then should the end come. Well, that was the future prophecy, which is now. But then verse 15, he went back to his time, talking about how in Daniel chapter 9, what we just went into, should come to pass. And that came to pass already. He wasn't talking about into 50, but that time already passed. This was the 62 weeks that scripture was talking about in Daniel chapter 9, verse 25, which was 490 year prophetic saying. So now, Daniel, 7 and 8.
And of the horns that were in his head, and of others which came up.
Yeah, because Roman Empire, they spread their influence everywhere. Around, I think it was 53 BC, if I'm not mistaken, when Julius Caesar went out in Europe, in particular Britannia, that was called, it's one of the horns, one of the 7 heads of, really one of the 7 heads of the dragon. But the horn, England and Iceland, they're part of that Great Britain. In other words, coming a whole body. Great Britain, but it's many other, it's not just Great Britain. You don't have city, main capital of Great Britain. We're talking about many diverse lands over there in Europe. But in this particular sense, Julius Caesar, he went out and conquested lands and whatnot. That's how you got the 10 horns. 10 horns being Spain, Belgium, you got Netherlands, Denmark, you got France, you got Portuguese, Spain, you got West Germany, just to name a few of the 10 horns. But really, it's all really the areas that the Roman Empire already covered. If you go to these times, the 10 horns, more than 10 horns now, you got like 27 other countries that's allied with the 10 horns. It's talked about in this particular chapter. Matter of fact, get that particular sign. Go to the 10 horns. Yeah, because the scripture is prophetic. But we just briefly going over the 10 horns, how it started. Huns, Gauls.
Oh, yeah.
You go ahead and read it.
This is Revelation 17, verse. Revelation 17, verse 3. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full the name of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns.
Yeah, that woman being America, that beast being EU and NATO. That's essentially the 10 horns. Then you got 7 heads. You got Rome, French, Greece, German Minor, Germania Major. You got Britain. Then you have I already mentioned. Did I mention Spain? Okay, Spain. Germany Minor, Major, Greece. Yeah, you're right. I'm about to get this.
It says, fill the name of walking had 710 horns, and the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls.
So these 10 horns did. So 10 horns were already established at one time. Then, fast forward to these times, this is what the prophecy is going into. Chapter 9, verse, no, chapter 7, verse 2. Hopefully they are talking the same with really elaborates on the scripture that was going in Revelation chapter 17. The beast, the 7 heads, the 10 horns. You'll not see that. It's a new beginning. Brother, it's always been the two y'all already know this. So right here, ten horns, Belgium, Denmark, France, Italy, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Greece, Ireland, England, and West Germany. And you got NATO, which really is the acronym, North Atlantic Treaty Organization. So that's a makeup of the peace. So the prophecy that James had founded on in James chapter 7, that's coming to pass right now. Go ahead, bro.
And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, decked with gold and precious stones and pearls.
Yep, let's talk about this. Go to Revelation chapter 18. No other nation in history overtopped every nation. But Joshua now is fighting for peace. They never was the story about it. America is that top nation. America is that what the world wonders after in Revelation chapter 13. Saying of the people wondering after the peace was this thing. Who can go against the beast? Because the beast has great horns, just like in James chapter 7 about the fourth beast. Great iron claws, set for rescue. It talks about it also that all the nations is quiet about it. No other nation spoke against this beast. The same thing is happening right now. The Lord is what? Rising up to other nations to say that I am strong, like it says in Joel chapter 3. So yes, these 2 horns are back. The 7 heads, they are revived. Talking about that one head that was moving, which is the Roman Empire. That head has been healed during the time of the Renaissance. This century is fast, man, but we're just going to briefly break it down to showing you how, like I read in the book of Second Ezra chapter 9, verse 1, on the critically researching the time. Matter of fact, get that from the back. Second Ezra chapter 9, verse 1.
Second Ezra chapter 9, verse 1. And it reads, and he answered the dead, said, measure thou the time diligently in himself, and will thou see a part of the time past, which I have told you before, then shalt thou understand that is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world of humanity.
So Heavenly Father never visited in the time of the Roman Empire. That was not good, but he came in the flesh. The Lord said what? I want to meet ye as a man. The one time about the visit the world from the story how it's time was 28. James chapter 12, the first book. Michael says us. He didn't stand up on the time of the Romans invaded and Scotland. He didn't beg excuse Michael's argument going to outside the time of the virgin. Right? Scotland is still taken down. The Northern Kingdom is going up against you. Matter of fact, I ain't good. But, it only did so much. It didn't bring Israel to salvation. It wouldn't be taken to 125,000 soldiers of the Syrian Empire. They try to go to the kingdom of Judah. Going to 85,000 people. But in these times, when the archangel Michael stands up, it's going to be more in the heaven. It's going to be more in the sky, just like you see over there in Houston right now. I ran to the river, what does he call it? Thankful. Always something going on over there. Ukraine. But the angel, the archangel Michael ain't standing on the rock because it's not time. Like the brother besides the grave, he said, what? Diligently measure the time. This is the rule. How are we going to measure the time? So I said, sure. This is how we measure the time. Measure the time. So he said, this is like the other than that, he said, we'll come with you. We're going to be out here doing work. But it's the spirit of the Lord. I'll break the Lord. Somebody said, It's Colossians.